Okay, painters, so this is me demonstrating how to start putting your object on your painting, but then also blending. So I'm going to do this in two stages. The first stage is just going to be putting the image, putting your object or subject on your background. So I painted the background kind of rough and quick. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to cover up a lot of the front with the shadow that I'm making up. But I'm going to start with just the color of the object. So my color scheme is orange, green, and violet. So I'm going to make a violet on my palette, just mixing blue and red, and then adding a little white to it so it's more opaque. I'm going to paint that right into the object, and then I'll add shadows. So I'm looking at this as my subject, and I'm going to put the general shapes on, and I'm not going to sweat it too much if I mess up on the shapes because I can just paint over it. The top of my painting is here though, so I'm not going to want that. I might end up being a little bigger, maybe here. The camera lens. There's the top part. So now I'm going to grab a little more color. I'm going to mix white into this violet. And I'm going to fill in chunks. I know a lot of this will be lighter in the end, but we're just going to fill it in solid for now. Okay. So the edges of this are pretty rough. I would normally switch to a smaller brush, but I'm not going to do it in this case. I'm going to use a bigger brush just to get some more stuff painted. So right now I see light spots on my camera, so that's the part I'm going to work on. So I'm just going to take the same brush. I'm not going to wash it or change any color. I'm just going to add some white to it, and I'm going to start looking at where the highlights are and adding some light spots. So part of your score for this painting assignment is realistic shading, highlights, and shadows. So I'm going to start by just putting in some lights. If I screw it up, I know I can paint over it, so I'm going to just establish the shape by putting in some highlights. So the lens sticks out, has a highlight on the top, and I'm also noticing some highlights in this corner and highlights up here, and then a few other little lines that have highlights, this outside part. So adding white to your paint also helps make it a little more opaque, so the color won't show the background through if I have this layer of white mixed in here, even if I go back into it, which I expect I will. And then the side is a little lighter. I'll try and notice like the lightness here is the same here, so I'm going to make it the same value on the painting. And I'm still just using the brush. Wow. With the lightness that it's showing me. And this part looks like it might need to be a little bigger. Here too, on this side. So I've got a few other spots. Now I'm going to stop the video because at this point I would use a smaller brush and go back with my darker color and start blending in with gloss medium to add more detail.